There's no other way to put it. Silver's price got absolutely hammered today, and there could be more pain ahead. I'll explain why as we explore. With some heavy profit taking today, that could be a theme that we run into next week as we continue to see some things normalize. It's something that I have been warning about for a while now, that this bull run will have its top, and we could be near it. Although I'm not necessarily ruling out that we're at the top yet with both gold and silver, but before I get too deep into this, I want to read to you the precious metal prices, because it is a pummeling for all the metals today, especially palladium. But before I get to that, I want to remind your channel sponsor, Summit Metals, this is a dip, a big time dip. And if you are in the market, this is a good opportunity. Although, just fair warning, prices could continue to drop from here. So weigh that as well whenever you make your purchases. But experience their great customer service and the fact that they will buy and sell precious metals. So check them out by clicking the link in the description below. So what happened today? What is the mess? What is the outcome? What is the carnage of today's precious metals markets? Well, moments before they close, gold is down over $100 today, down 2.37% right now to $4,224.90. It did get down as low as $41.86 today. Silver, after reaching a record high of $54.52 very early on in the trading day, fell down as low as $50.57. That's a 6% drop. Plus, wow, that's amazing. But there is some recovery, which is a little bit of welcome news here in late trading here. It is now down $2.41, but that's still over 4.4% drop today. Absolute crushing for a trading day in terms of silver's price to $51.82. Platinum fell 6.2%, down $106 today to $1,615 after topping out at $1,731 before this mess began. Palladium fell 8.85% right now to $1,492. That's down $141. Amazing. It did get down as low as $1,443. It had topped out at $1,657. The only metal that has come out on top today is an almost 4% climb, $300 for rhodium. So it avoided all of this. So what's behind this? Well, I mentioned profit taking. In fact, Kitco has a piece on that, but I'm not going to reference that because, in part, this is what is behind what this has occurred here. We're starting to see a lot of things happening with the biggest drop that we've seen in 6 months in silver. That's a 6% drop earlier in the day. And as a broad precious metal group retreated following a furious rally that we've seen this week. What goes up will come back down, and we're starting to see that right now. The pullback came as concerns eased over credit quality in the United States and trade friction between China and the U.S., which is denting haven demand for gold and silver. So there you go. Credit quality is part of it. And President Donald Trump's remarks on Friday soothed anxiety around trade tensions, while solid results from regional banks helped stabilize the stock market and lift bond yields. Higher rates typically are negative for bullion, which doesn't pay interest. So that's what's happening there. The historic squeeze in the silver market in London is also showing signs of easing. I talked about that in this morning's video, which I'll link to here, because I've been seeing some tepid movement for silver compared to gold and the other precious metals, and that's part and parcel to what's happening there. And that has prompted some profit-taking by investors. The London shortage is alleviating somewhat from extreme levels, and the more regional dislocations smooth out, there could be pressure and profit-taking, according to Nikki Shields, head of strategy for metals at MKS PAMP SA. In fact, when you look at the silver price right now for the futures markets, well, it's now in backwardation about $1, a little less than that now. So that's another sign that the backwardation is coming back and coming more in line, but it's still got a ways to go. We're not there yet, and we could easily go back into that again. But remember, they're trying to close out these contracts for October and options and all that stuff. And we're getting, this is something that sort of does happen, and the short market is in command here today, and typically happens on a Friday. But nonetheless, that's what's happening there. Now, silver had set fresh all-time highs this week, as I mentioned. It had climbed out at $54.52, and this is before tumbling in a rally that looks to have gone too fast too soon. And that's something, again, I've been warning about. It's been exciting, but we've been spoiled this year so far. So in some way, this should not surprise us. In fact, yesterday's move really did surprise us in the opposite direction. I mentioned that in yesterday's video, but now it's a correction, big time. And now a gauge of price momentum known as relative strength index suggests too many people have been buying silver since late September and signals a potential for a pullback in prices. Gold is in a similar situation. Still, gold has surged more than 60% this year, underpinned by central bank buying and inflows into bullion-backed exchange-traded funds. Traders are also piling into wagers on at least one jumbo U.S. rate cut this year. That would benefit non-yielding precious metals. Now, that jumbo rate cut essentially would mean a half-point cut, but I don't necessarily see that coming. I would be very surprised. But the last 2 weeks have seen the London silver market tighten dramatically, propelling prices well above New York silver futures and leading traders to fly metal across the Atlantic. The historic squeeze in London sparked a worldwide hunt for the metal, with its 1 month annualized borrowing cost sitting around 20% on Friday. Over the past week, more than 15 million ounces of silver have been withdrawn from warehouses linked to the COMEX Futures Exchange in New York. Much of what that is likely headed to London, where it should help ease the tightness, as will a hefty 10 million ounce outflow from silver-backed ETFs that we saw on Thursday. The price gap between the two trading hubs remains wide at more than $1.10 per ounce, though that's much narrower than a spread of as much as $3 last week. So spot silver price was down as in New York, and that's what we're seeing. Now, that's pretty interesting to see it narrow from $3 to $1.10, that backwardization. That's what we're witnessing there, and seeing that move from not being as polarized. So this could be over soon, folks. Now, I want to tell you this, that I think this is going to spark more buying, and I'm going to be talking about that as well as other topics in another video coming soon. But this is actually a good opportunity, I think, because what is going to happen on the other side of this rally may be coming fairly soon, and that is what I'm excited for, because I feel very positive about silver's outlook in that regard. In other words, I think the price of silver may normalize to probably above $40 an ounce, or at least above $35, I'm thinking, as we maybe head into another rally as we start to see interest rates being cut more. And that is going to be a positive sign for silver, which is going to provide a great level of support, stabilization, where the floor for silver will be much higher than before this rally began. And that is something that I think we can hope for. We can not necessarily bet on, but I think that's quite a strong possibility, because through the craziness of the markets, the volatility, therein lies what silver has done for thousands of years: preserve wealth and to be a constant store of value. And the value proposition, I think, is much more enticing than price, which is why I like to have the physical outside of that, because the price is measured in these Federal Reserve notes, currency. This is bad money, folks. This is unsound money. It's guaranteed to lose value year over year. That's inflation. Even if at 2%, it's still inflation. Whereas holding silver over the long course of time will preserve your wealth. And that's why I believe in it. That's why I hold it. That's why I'm in an unusual circumstance from many others out there in this market, where I'm not selling. No, I'm holding on to pretty much every ounce. In fact, I'm gaining more. I've given some away, but I try to replenish that too. So there you have it. So fascinating market indeed. Well, I strive to bring you the latest news and analysis in the world of precious metals. So if you enjoy what I do here, I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel and pressing that thumbs up button. It all does help to get the word out, to let other folks know about this channel and the news on silver. And with that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.